This is guild meeting number 2 on Friday, March 27th, 2015. Alright, so the purpose of this meeting is to talk about the guild vault. Talk about, for one, that Phoenix has been promoted to a GL, or a Dreadlord, as we call the rank. As well as to anything that you guys wish to voice. We are also going to be discussing about Zoe or Ryan. Anyway, let's start with the guild bank. As for what happened the other day, still am unsure exactly whose ult that was. Everything obviously points to Zoe, but for further investigation will happen later on. Anyway, currently right now the guild vault is locked down. Credits are only accessible by me, Phoenix, and Ax Angelus. Reasons for that is just basically not only to save for the ship, but it's also to just make sure nothing like that stuff happens again, and to make sure that the guild funds are being used for the guild, not for personal use. As far as that goes, every rank has the ability to withdraw 5 items from the first 2 tabs, which would be cold storage and meat locker. The crafting tab is locked away, specifically only to, it is accessible by the guild council members. I believe I have it set that way. If not, I'll change it. It is a deposit only, as far as I know, to guild council members. It is viewable by all the rest of the guild. Reasons for that is crafting mats or whatnot are specific for raids or anything needed for that, and also so people don't just randomly take stuff. If you have something that is very rare that you want to put in the vault but you don't want it to be touched, that is where you will put it. The rest of the guild can't touch it but us.
Yeah. Which makes me ask, by the way, what can we get another tab, and how much would it cost?
3.5 mil.
Okay, we should probably save up and do that because
We're already at 3 mil. It won't take very long.
Okay, we'd want to split the crafting and rare item tabs. Have 2, like a little bit more.
That's fine. That is the next thing I plan on making.
Let's just go ahead and do that right now. I got 600k on me, so I'll just donate to it.
All right, that's fine, but we'll do it after the meeting.
You don't have to put the whole 600, and I'll donate some too.
Anyway.
Oh. But by the way, I would like to, if we can get the last tab, the 4th tab, I'd probably say give access to the 3rd one to the council members, crafting stuff.
Of course. I was planning on changing the crafting one to council members will have access to pretty much everything again. Obviously, I trust everyone that's currently sitting in this room.
Yep. But I would like to have the 4th tab kind of be in a place that we can put kind of the stuff where important to the guild that we're saving up.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we'll discuss more settings about that in a bit.
Rare crafting materials, high-level mods, things like that we'd like to give out to people for raids and high-level stuff.
Okay. So, as it stands right now, since Phoenix has been promoted, there is an open seat on the council. Jikasa, if you want it, it is yours.
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay. I don't think anybody else agrees, or disagrees, rather.
Nope, it's good with me. I don't have a problem.
Anyone else? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay.
I vote for.
Okay.
I abstain.
Okay. So, let's see. We'll just do this now, I guess, since I'm here. And there we go. Bang.
Well, alright. Another thing I want to do is, since we're promoting people, I also want to nominate Hiroshi for junior officer.
Hiroshi? Yes, I agree with that.
Because he's been working very hard. I've noticed he's been donating. He's also been helping the new recruits.
He's also been recruiting like a mother. Like,
yeah.
I've been noticing that.
I want to nominate him for junior officer if everybody agrees.
I'm fine with that.
I would agree.
Yeah, that one I agree with.
Okay.
Yep.
I will promote him when he comes online.
That's fine.
Or I will discuss it with him when he comes online if he wants it. If he does, I've always said, I give everybody the option to take it if they want to. If they don't, they have every right to turn it down. So I'll see if he wants it first, and if he wants it, I'll promote him.
Now, another subject I want to touch is because Hiroshi brought the idea up of putting like near, you know how you can put officer notes near characters?
Yeah.
Of putting what their main character is build.
You mean their spec?
Yeah, what their spec is. That way we don't have to, like, if we're going to form a raid group, we don't have to, like, ask people. We could just look up who is spec for certain different stats and stuff.
I mean, honestly, the only thing I wouldn't touch would be the council member notes and the guild leader notes, just because I want to make sure those are distinctive as to who we are for the rest of the guild to know that we are them.
No, that's
but as
fine.
far as all the rest of the guild, yeah, that's fine. And that's a good idea that we should at least label what their main spec is so we know what we have and also what we need to look for.
Yeah, and those of us with alts, it's good to have it marked.
Yes, I mean all of our alts will be changed for that, but it'll say like alt of your main, like it'll be like alt of Vatbrak, tank spec or whatever, you know. But our main characters that we're using mainly for the council stuff, I want to just leave the notes as they are because it lets people know who we are.
That's fine.
I have a question. I'm not sure. You know how when you queue up for a flashpoint or whatnot, it gives you the option to check what you're going to do, either DPS or heal or tank. Does the guild tab show you what people can be based upon that type of selection? So you can see of all three, because you could meet more than one.
Well, I mean, if people have 2 specs, then yes. It would be nice to show
basically,
that.
I would only show the main spec and then just ask them if they have an off spec that they switch to.
Yeah, if we have enough space and they tell us, they'll just probably note that down.
I mean, I can always just make a forum post on our website with just everybody's, like, all our main people. Like, when we start actually having raid groups, I'm going to make a forum post for that specifically, and each raid group will have the members of that raid group, their specs and their off specs, so you guys know what to play with. I mean, that's what I plan on doing anyway.
Yeah, I probably want to make a secondary post for each raid group also based on what people's gear is, what they need, and what they're looking for.
Right.
So that we have a log of what people want to get and what each player's items.
You know, and I would like to be able to make it balanced enough that, you know, when you go into a raid, everybody has a chance of at least getting something, and it's not like you're all trying to compete against each other. But that might be a little hard, like sorcerers, obviously, or even sorcerers either as healers or DPS are both going to use the same thing.
Yeah, but we want to make sure that everybody's given enough, so, you know, we definitely would like to have, or to see, you know, donation guild with, like, crafting stuff or mods, things like that.
Yep.
That we want to be able to give out to raid members. Make sure, I mean, it's important if we're raiding, once we get into that, you know, all of the members of each raid is up to spec with their gear requirements. So if they're not, we want to make sure that we have enough stuff to give to them to make them geared enough.
Yeah.
Are the raid zones in particular gear specific? In other words, if you do a certain zone, you're going to have tank gear versus healer gear, or is it just all random?
The drops off the bosses they're set. Like each boss drops a set list of gear, and each time you kill it, it's a random drop from that list.
Gotcha.
Like one boss can drop a certain list of gear, like you can drop a headpiece, a chest piece, and legs, but you kill it one time and it just drops the legs, and the next time it's the head.
It works the same as flashpoints. It's the same basic concept.
That's fine. I would suggest whoever is setting up your raids, the first thing you do is pick the zones that benefit the tank and the healer first. DPS is secondary, but those two guys are the main guys.
Well, of course, because if the healers can't keep the rest of their raid group up, and the tank can't hold aggro against the DPS, the raid's totally useless.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind though that it is going to be a little more complicated than that on some fights.
Obviously,
Because again,
some fights are
going
gonna
to be more
probably
DPS burns.
Yeah.
User joined
You
your
know.
channel.
channel.
Who was
Some
it?
Sounds
fights
good,
may
that's
have
for the future.
strict DPS requirements that we're going to have to meet.
Hello.
Hey, Ryan.
Dead silence.
This is amusing.
Anyway, well, now everybody's in here.
Yep.
So anyway, I mean, yeah, I can just make a wow. I just went brain dead.
Hey.
We'll just
Hi.
make sure to keep everything on the website so everybody knows what's going on with everybody else.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, trying to think of what the next topic. Well, let's talk about Ryan.
Hi.
Hi. It has been brought to my attention, Ryan, that you wanted to step down.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't feel like I'm contributing anything, and I don't like being in positions of power.
Okay. Well, I'll drop you to a veteran so you're not in any position of power.
Yep, I think we all respect that.
You'll be a veteran of the guild. You'll be a Sith Lord, so you won't be like an apprentice or acolyte.
Okay.
That's fine. What else do we have to talk about?
Alright, so in terms of like improvements, has anybody seen any improvements? Any ideas on improvements?
Anybody else you guys might want to nominate as junior officers, or anybody else you've seen that's been doing really good in progression, or just helping out in general?
I think we already covered
the only
that
thing
up.
I haven't really noticed yet is kind of inventory of the people that we have invited to the guild who are interested in devoting some time to doing operations and things like that in the hard modes and things, because if you do, we need to focus on getting them either the help to get to the higher level or the coaching to what they need to start working on.
Okay, well, on that aspect, I think then we should probably put together a forum post and start making some inquiries to the guild as to who's interested in raiding and who's interested in getting up to there, and then we can log that all in the forum and keep track of it.
And then we also have to manage the expectations, because if 90% of the guild is DPS, it may not be everybody can go all the time. We may have to have some rotations and things like that too.
Yep, and if that's the case, we may want to ask people to go tank or go healer if they can and they're willing. See who's willing to do that. Obviously, you're right. We have to have a certain group makeup to do raids, and if we don't have, there's too many DPS, then we can't take everybody.
Right. Well, that's good. A good idea. Sorry, I'm kind of sick, guys, so I'm slightly brain dead throughout this whole thing.
That's okay.
Anyway, but yeah, no, we'll make forum posts and make sure. I mean, right now, as it stands, the only people that are really using the forums is mainly us, which is fine because, quite frankly, we need to at least keep track of things of the guild or on our own. As it also stands, anytime someone is, sorry, when people join the guild, I let everybody know that's been recruiting lately that when they recruit someone to write down the date of which they've in the member note so I can swap it to the officer note.
User disconnected from your channel.
The officer notes now tell us when they've joined, so that way we know when they've joined and how long they've been in the guild for. So that way I can switch them from the acolyte and whatnot. That was a little change I made. I don't even know why I said that. I'm totally off topic. Anyway, I don't know.
Alright, so guild funds, we're gonna try to upgrade all the bank slots. Is that what we're gonna go for?
Should we pursue for all of the bank slots first before we decide to pursue for the ship?
I would say so. The ship is less towards what we're going for.
For
more
the
of a
moment.
secondary goal. Yeah, it's more of a secondary goal, though.
I mean,
Our main goal right now is to get all the materials together and start raiding, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely want to start raiding. I mean, I think
I mean, it's not to mention the fact that the ship takes 50 million credits, and so
that's 50
you know,
million credits just to get it. It's another 25
Yeah.
to open all the doors.
so it's more of a far off goal.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be quicker
Long term.
actually if we got more people up higher that could, and people that could, once we get that, people can farm more credits faster.
Yeah.
With that in mind, guys, I would like to say let all the guild leaders. In guild, we had like 17 people the other day. Get all the newbies to donate 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Just remind everybody, hey, we want to get our guild ship to raid. It'd be most helpful if everybody donates, whatever small change they have. It'll add up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be coin either, because I'm horrible when it comes to GTN, but there may be somebody else that's excellent at it. I'll donate items that I get that I'm not going to use in a heartbeat, and if somebody wants to take the opportunity to make some
You know
coin
who's
off of it.
really good with the GTN? Is Hiroshi. And so is Phoenix. But
He's good with
Hiroshi has been making a fortune. Right now, according to how much did he say he had? Something like over. He has about like 34 million credits on him right now, just from GTN alone.
Yeah.
So if you want to go that route, I would recommend one of the guild tabs set aside for members to put items in that we expect to go to the GTN.
We could do that. I could
then-
definitely keep track of that and post some stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's
I could
fine.
definitely set aside some time to do that. On another note, though, is you guys probably have noticed that it is a double XP weekend right now until Monday morning at 3 a.m. or Eastern time, or whatever that translates to you guys' time. So for those of you guys who have 60s, I definitely want to get together a list of kind of people who are interested in rating and whatnot, and if we could, try to, if you have other tunes that you want to level, do that, but try to see if anybody else needs help, and
Yeah,
let's try to get
definitely
some
try to get
more
a
people
let's
boosted
try
up.
to get a bunch of groups together of lobies in our guild, even if it's just 160 per group. Let's just blow through like flashpoints or blow them through quests. It doesn't matter. Let's try to get as many people as we can up a few levels within this weekend. I'm working for the whole weekend, so I won't be able to help much.
As many levels as we can grab right now, it's worth it, because
Yeah,
we're level
get
twice as fast
ahead.
right now, so it's worth doing it.
Get ahead
Boy.
while we can.
You get practically half a level just doing the drive yards.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another thing. Like, that's what I plan on doing the whole weekend when I'm doing this, is just running quad, because I know everybody in God's hell's name is going to be freaking doing it.
Yep. So I mean, obviously the people with 60s can't do quat, but if we have a bunch of people that if you all have 30, 40 tunes or something,
It doesn't even matter. Any
find some
tune
other
from
people to
level
group with and just do
15
it.
to 55 can all
Yeah.
run quad.
That's what I mean. So just you can just find some people that want to level and just go blow through a bunch of quads. And so not to mention the fact that you can also run people through for their the daily flashpoint quests.
Yeah.
So that's worthwhile doing too.
So, you DC'd. Yeah, another thing, to keep yourselves from DCing, just type like LOL or something in officer chat and it'll reset your AFK timer. Sitting here with like, or you can just jump, but I guess that works too.
I just turn left, turn right.
But at any rate, I don't know. I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to bring up?
I have not heard you bring up Zoe.
We just did that. Zoe was the one who just popped in here and then popped off.
Oh, got you. That was Zoe. All right.
Yeah, that was Ryan. He's just gonna step down anyway. He wanted to step down out of power, so problem resolved. Don't have to go any further with that. If he's just gonna step down on his own, that's fine with me. I don't even want to deal with it. So, I mean, if there's anything else you guys want to bring up, by all means, speak now. Jose, you need to start speaking as well. My God.
He's listening.
I know, he's always listening, but he never says anything. He never voices his damn opinion.
He does every now and then.
On the forums, that doesn't count when we have a meeting.
He's just always in deep thought.
Always in deep thought, huh?
Alright, so any other issues? Concerns?
No?
I'm thinking.
Thinking, okay.
Alright.
Give you another couple seconds.
Well, when we're done with this, we should probably go ahead and start inquiring about who's interested in raiding and who wants to get up to 60 quick. So
Yeah. And
keep in
while
mind,
you
though,
guys
that
are
if-
starting that, I'm going to be going to the
Yeah.
store to get bread because I'm starving.
we do have to remind people though that in order for them to raid at 60, they are going to need to buy the expansion. If they don't have it and they can't do it quite yet,
Well, here's the thing:
You know.
is like I had said in the previous meeting, I don't want to start with the 60 raids yet.
we'll see. But can a
I-
60 do the 55 raids?
Yes, because you have to walk into it.
Okay.
So
But-
I would like us because I mean, has anybody in this current council meeting, have any of you raided in this game yet?
I did
I
one.
have.
Okay.
I
Okay.
haven't.
Well, there's a
Okay,
few of us
that's-
here
yeah,
who
yeah.
have not, but you also have to keep in mind this is a newer guild coming together to do things. I would like us to start with the 55 from the Hut Cartel and see how we do as a team, as one. You
Yeah,
know,
I do
and-
have to kind of agree with that one. Even at 60, I guess that is a good point, especially if a bunch of them are at 60. It will be easier significantly, and it'll allow us to get a good feel for rating, get a good feel for working
You know, I
together.
want our groups that we make for rating groups to get to know each other, how each other play first. The 60 raids are going to be hard, and let's start with stuff that's a little easier that we can still take 55s with us. And I mean,
Yep.
at 55, they only need to get the 172s or have them crafted for them, and it's more than sufficient gear. You know, back before they brought out the 172s when the expansion came out, the highest level was 168, I think. And that was considered decent.
Yeah, I do have to mention though, by the way, that in order to raid, we're going to have a requirement to TeamSpeak for raids. So
Obviously.
during raids, TeamSpeak is going to be
Yeah,
required
you
for
don't have
communication.
to speak on the TeamSpeak, but
Yeah.
at least hearing what
Yeah.
the strategy
Yeah, you need to at
is.
least be on and present in order to hear what's going on. You don't need to have a mic. You just need to use your speakers and listen.
Yeah, the last thing we want is for people to not be able to hear call-outs and things like
So,
that.
so are we talking the 8-man raids?
8 or 16, we'll probably do both depending on the members we have.
All right, I was going to suggest potentially having 2 separate raid groups.
We'll probably do that to start off with. We may at some point end up merging into a 16 to see how that goes. We may even end up doing all of it. We may, depending on what lockouts allow for, we may end up doing 2 8-mans a week and then also going together both groups as 16 and doing that too. It's going to depend once we get up there and see what happens, what we're going to do with that. Who's available, who wants to do what.
Yeah, I used to belong to an EQ2. We had like 12 raid groups, and it was kind of a competition, which
Yeah,
made it kind of fun.
That's
to
the fun thing
progress.
too. Yeah, I'd like to see that. If we can get 2 16-man groups going, and then maybe even have 4 8-mans and have them merge together, maybe alternating too. Maybe 2 groups merge into 16 for 1 week, and then next week, everybody merges into with another group that they didn't get into last time. We can kind of rotate. So everybody kind of gets to know each other. We got a little good friendly competition going to see who can do the best, but you're also working together and everybody kind of works with each other at some point. We'll see
Yeah.
how that goes. I'd like to see that going, but again, in order to do just that, we're going to need 32 active raid members. So
Yeah, make sure you set up your mains and then set up alts.
Yeah.
That way you get somebody can't make it, you can pull up an alt. All right, you're up, you're up.
yeah,
You
I'd
know?
like to see that too. I'd like to see some of our more active, more influential members doing some of that stuff. That's always definitely very helpful, especially if you can make alts with alternative roles.
Well,
If
that's
you have
why
a-
I made my sorcerer, because
Yeah, if you
my
have a DPS
sorcerer is
main,
healer
if you
and
want to make a
DPS.
tank alt, then that'd be great. Because then that really would
Well,
probably
as
end
it
up helping
stands
out.
right now, I've got a tank, a DPS, and a healer, because my tank I'm leveling.
Yep.
So,
I'd
suck.
love to see that. So, I mean, of course, stay within what you're comfortable with. If you don't feel like you're going to be very good at healing, then, if you're not comfortable with that, then, don't go with a healer. Maybe try tank. Just go whatever you're comfortable with. We don't want anybody to kind of step outside their comfort zone to try to help the guild. If you don't think
obviously,
you're gonna-
you never, even if it's not to help out the guild in a raid, you
Yeah.
should never be out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's all about having fun, and we don't want to stress anybody about it.
Right.
obviously, if we're going to be raiding, we'd like to set raid times that kind of work with everybody's schedules. And if we do that, we'd like to, it'd be best if everybody kind of kept to that. Like if we set a raid time that everybody kind of agrees, okay, that works with my schedule. We'd like to kind of keep that, to make sure that people aren't, somebody has to go to work, and they can't come because we didn't keep the original raid time or something like that. We'd like everybody to be able to come. So.
Well, you can alternate. If you have two separate raid groups, have one
yeah.
at a certain time, and then drop the other one by 2 or 3 hours, so other people can make that time.
Yeah, and we're going to make a list of like what everybody's availability is. We're going to talk to everybody, see what the best time is for everybody, and we'll try to come across, a time that works best for everybody. That everybody,
Yeah, you're
finds
right,
is
Pat.
a good point.
Oh, quick question. The credits in the guild bank, is there any way to separate, like, one tab credits from another? Or is it just all
No,
one?
it's just an entire.
It's just
Pool.
one giant pool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just asked them.
It would
I
be
wish
nice,
it would be great if we could do that, because I could put like a separate tab for like just repairs and the other one for saving.
In EQ, we had 4 tabs, and each tab had its own money pool. And I was going to suggest that, hey, the 4th tab, we use it for just a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would implement this, which somebody brought up before. I forget who. I haven't. If we could have like a percentage of credits donated to the guild bank. I wish they'd implement that, but I don't think there's a way to do that quite yet. So. Having solely credits people pick up a certain percentage from going to the guild bank. That would be really nice. Make the farming up a lot quicker.
We in WoW we used to do one. Everybody would contribute just a fraction of what they earned to the guild automatically, but periodically when we were raiding and learning and all that, we would cover the repair costs while we were doing that for your gear because we knew we were going to wipe a lot.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to do that too with the guild bank. I think
Of
repair
course,
costs for
I would
raiders are
always.
gonna be. I think we may end up having we may see, but we may end up doing something along the lines. We'll have to see how we can do that. I honestly don't know.
Do we know if there's going to be certain items required, not gear, but consumables and things like that we're going to need to stock up on?
Well, I mean,
We'll see. We'll look into that and we'll make a list.
I mean, as far as gear-wise goes, to start raiding at 55, anybody who doesn't have Shadow of Revan, they're going to need to have full 172s and the 168 earpiece relics, or the earpiece implants and, relics in order to start raiding, because without that gear, they're useless. They're not going to be able to pump out enough damage. Their health pools are going to be too low, and they're going to get hit like Mack trucks. Because without the 172s, everybody that hits 55 will have like 15k health minimum. And at the most, maybe close to 20. But with those, they bump up to over 30.
Yeah, I think, by the way, for repairs, I think our raiders we may end up making a certain, I don't know what your thought on this one, Kevin, is, but in order to offer raid repairs, we are going to have to set a guild repair to a certain amount for each.
No.
What?
No, you will not set any guild repair funds for raiding.
I think we'll just hand it to them.
You don't give them anything. Make them fix their own gear if they die. I'll tell you why. You get an 8-man guy and you wipe 6 times, 7 times, and then my repair bills $70,000. Times that by 8. You're gonna have a massive amount of money coming out of the guild bank. Let people generate their own money, do their own repairs.
We'll have to see too. I mean, obviously, if we have people in raid groups and we're kind of requiring them to come at a certain time, we'll have to see at a certain point. But we may do that more once we start getting more donations. I think that may be what supplements it if we do that.
I mean, honestly, if we turn around and we have, the guild chip already and whatnot, and we have all the doors unlocked, what are we really saving the money for?
I think we're definitely going to help out, though. I mean, if somebody doesn't have the credits and they're in the raid, we're wiping.
Obviously, if they don't have the credits, I would obviously help them.
Yeah, we can make adjustments down the road after we have our ship, after we have the doors unlocked. Set aside 10, 15,000, you know what I mean? But you can't differentiate between a guild, raid.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think about.
And
like,
then
would the raiders have to be at a certain...
Yeah, you set it at 10,000, and everybody's going to be able to do 10,000.
Yeah.
That's why I said, let them take care of their own repairs. In the raid, we had to take care of our own repairs. That makes people go out and make their money If they have an issue and they need a couple of bucks, I'll give them a couple of bucks to do repairs if need be. But
Oh yeah, I do the same out of my pocket. I don't care, you know.
yeah, exactly. Keep it simple. Down the road, when we start getting a lot of donations, we got money, then we can open up the doors a little bit more, and say, hey guys, you earned this. With all the donations, we got lots of money now. You guys have, we're upping the repair bill to 10, 15, and so on.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, I can see where it comes from there. So.
Yeah, people can work for it.
Yeah,
I'm a stingy bastard.
But that's
Well,
what we want. We need
it's a
someone who
community
can
thing.
turn around and be like, no, that's why
It's
you're
a
here.
community thing though too, So if the community, if we're not all putting money into it, then we shouldn't all be getting stuff out of it. So
Correct.
If one person's putting all the money in and all the items and stuff like that, then it's not really fair to them. So it should be a community thing. So
Yes.
That's why I said keyword of the day, people, donate. Get all the newbies to donate.
get involved in the guild bank.
That should be an MOTD.
I
Yep.
think that's what you should do, Kevin.
What?
Put that on your message of the day. We're saving for a guild ship. All of you guys are invited to raid with us. We're going to start that up in this near future here. And we need all the donation, 1,000, 5,000. Make it small amounts. It all adds up and appreciated.
Well, go ahead, Phoenix.
No.
You already
Okay.
have guild
Yep.
permissions.
I
Go
know.
for it.
I know. I think we should also. People should also know that the guild bank is there for them. If they donate, they can get stuff out of it. Obviously, we don't want to be giving stuff away from the guild bank all the time to people who never put anything in there. But I think the whole point of it is donations don't go unrecognized. And if you need something out of the guild bank and you donate to it occasionally, then I think you should be perfectly welcome to it, no matter
you
what your
also
rank
have-
is.
You also have to keep in mind that the people who are non-subscribers can't see the guild vault.
I understand that. They can also ask if we have something. So.
Right,
I
but they
had somebody.
think
I had somebody today actually send me something. They mailed it to me and said, "I'm not a subscriber. Could you put this in Guild Bank for me? I wanted to donate it," and I did. So they can still do that.
yeah. Well, go ahead and change the message of the day if you want.
Just give me a sec.
Anything else we want to bring up?
Nope. Well, for me, no. I think we've touched a lot of subjects.
I just want to make sure that everybody's able to get their word in before we
Yeah.
possibly end it.
Word.
Just back to we're talking about forming a few 8-man groups. Do we know how many people are 55 or higher at the moment that would be able to do so now if we started one today?
Let me see.
I've got like 6 salts that can go.
But you're only one person. Let's see. So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, we're almost ready.
We have like 7.
No, we have a lot of. This is going from 55 and higher. That's if you're not counting death. We have a bunch of people. I don't know if all of them are truly active, but we got about like almost 8, maybe 9 currently.
And then we probably have a fairly good mix of alts that are at that level too that can slide in for either heals or DPS, or heals or tanking as necessary.
I could slip in on my sorcerer and be a healer if need be. I do have the field respec. That's why I got it. Because I don't have to change out my gear to respec. All I gotta do is respec and I'm instantly healer, so it's not a problem.
I still have my healer that I probably gonna level up this week.
I'm your
And its
healer.
main.
Your main spec's healer, Fatbreck?
You're staring at it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Definitely.
That's
need
why
him.
I have Hellstorm as my DPSer mage, and then Vaprak is my healing spec.
Okay.
That's,
Well, me and you will probably end up turning into the 2 main healers for starting. Because I think, what is it for an 8-man? It's 2 healers, 1 tank, rest DPS.
Sometimes it may be more than one if there's an aggro swap for like a debuff or something like that. So there may be 2, a tank and an off.
I think it's 2, 2, and 4.
2, 2, and 4.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 tanks, 2 healers, and 4 DPS.
That
Yeah.
sounds right. Okay.
Yeah, that way if you got a tank that goes down, you've got a backup guy to grab aggro real quick for emergencies and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the developers like to throw in mechanics where they have to swap aggro, so one takes it, one
Yep.
of the other ones cools off or something like that.
Cool. I mean, obviously those of us in this meeting who have not done raids yet, in this game, we will obviously start looking up what the raids are at 55 and figure out what the boss mechanics are, so that way when we go in, we are prepared and ready.
Yep. I think we should definitely make sure to look for some guides, and we'll have postings of guides for each boss that we're going to be doing that week or that day that we're going to probably require everybody to look over so they have a general idea what's going on.
You know, in some ways I like them, in some ways I hate them. So sometimes I'd like to see a boss without having any preconceived notion or an encounter, and then try to figure it out. And then if we need to, we can have a crutch that we can go to.
Yeah, we'll see. I definitely at least want the raid leaders, or at least the tanks, for the most fights, and definitely the raid leaders to know what's going on ahead of time, so they can kind of give everybody an idea where to be or what to do.
I mean, no matter how much you prepare, your first attempt, you're always going to wipe. It doesn't
Usually,
matter.
yeah, unless it's a really easy boss.
That's different. If the boss is an absolute pushover, then you're obviously going to kill it.
Yeah. But as a general point, it's probably going to want people to have an idea what's going on, going into it.
A funny memory I have of raiding is that our our tanks, so we're so well geared that they played a practical joke on the healers. After every encounter, they removed 1 piece of gear.
Oh, God. And then, wow, that decreases your stats ridiculously.
Oh, they'd go into the next boss with less gear on?
Yep.
Yeah, every encounter they'd go with the less gear, and then the healers were working their butts off trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, we used to do that in EQ. I told my brother he was a tank and I was a healer, and I said, dude, this is so easy. Take off your chest piece, dude. He would take it off, and I'd try to heal him through the whole raid. It's freaking funny. That's when everybody knew everybody. Hey, how many of you guys have 192 or 198 gear?
On my sorcerer, I think I have 186s going on right now. I still need to upgrade more.
So, anybody else?
What is the max eye level for 60?
198.
198.
Yeah, it's 198 is the ultimate accommodations. Then you have your elite accommodations, which is like 192. You
Where do you
run
get
the
the-
hard zones.
Where do you
Run
get the
the hard-
ultimates, though? Only from raids, I take it?
Yeah, only from
Okay.
raids. And the ultimates you get, or the elite, you get from the regular hard zones. And save up enough of those, and you get your 192 gear.
I
Hard zones
I
are
have the
4-man, right?
basics, which is 186.
Yeah, 186. You can wear it 56.
The hard zones
Yeah.
are 4-man still, right?
What was that?
The hard zones are still 4-man?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they are hard. They basically up the mechanics. It's the same zones you've been running.
Harder mobs, more mechanics.
Harder mechanics, more mechanics. Yeah, they add a little bit of this or a little bit of that. And,
Mobs probably do more damage, have more health.
Josh,
Yeah.
it's heroics
Yeah, no, I get it.
in
I get
WoW.
it,
It's
yeah.
the same thing.
I know. I get it.
yeah,
pretty
you just
simple.
need to get a good group. Now, ideally, if we have a 4-man group here, we can set up a hard mode and do that and get some elite accommodations going amongst 4 people, and start getting some of that 192 gear so that we're better outfitted for the upcoming 8-man raid.
What
Yeah.
accommodations are you needing for that?
Elites.
Elite.
Okay, I currently have 90, but I haven't spent any of them.
Yeah, you can get one piece of 192 gear, I think, starting at 80. It's 140 for like the chest piece and the legs. I think it's 80 for like the bracers and the belt. I've already got my belt, and I'm saving for. I've got my legs. I'm saving for my chest piece now.
Cool.
I've got a long ways to go on my ultimate. I only have one.
And get those from doing the hard modes.
Hard
Those
mode.
elite combinations.
Yeah, elite. Just do the hard mode 60s. You'll know when you're in a hard mode 60 because you're gonna die. You're gonna be like, holy shit, and then the mob's gonna wipe you guys all out. Unless you get a really good group that knows the mechanics. There's a lot of them out there, and then you learn. Pay attention to what's going on, and then that way you know what. So when we run the group, we'll have an idea what to do.
I remember doing Zerka Meltdown, non-tactical mode. Yeah, that sucked. Even at 60, it sucked. The boss, I was healer, and I couldn't keep up with the amount of damage that was going on. Not to mention our tank was an idiot.
Sounds like we're on the right track, guys.
Yep.
Yep.
So is that everything? Anybody else have anything else to add?
I'm disappointed in one little aspect, and that is I did not get to use my axe. Boo. Nope, I think we're done.
All
Yep.
right.
I guess this is all we have.
Very well. Council adjourned.
All right, everybody, you know the drill.
Get the fuck out of here. Go level.